Hey guys, welcome to the Forge Forward Podcast. This is episode 11. We've got Trey right here, myself, Thomas. Let's get into this action. We've got Memorial.
Let's do it. Yeah. We've got the Memorial recap. We're going to touch on another tournament, the Crush on the Concho
Classic.
And then we'll jump straight into Waco. We've got a new picking system that I have created. So we'll go over that and make some picks. We have a guest picker for you guys. So we're excited to bring him on. But then we'll talk about new discs. We'll do Foshi's Fun Games, and we'll finish it off. It's back. People were asking for it. People were begging for it. Thomas's top 5.
We're going to make it happen.
Let's do it.
One quick note. Trey finally had the hats delivered.
Yes, sir.
We finally got the Forge hats in. We're super excited. We'll be out at a couple tournaments this year. It'll be good for us to have these. If you see us wearing these, make sure to come and talk to us. We'll be at the Music City Open.
We will. We'll be hanging out, probably mainly in general admission. We've got some things we're excited about doing. So
it'll be good to get out there, watch some coverage live. It's always fun to watch tournaments, so we're excited for that. But actually having a hat on here, wonderful. So
yeah, we'll be making more too. So if you're interested in getting one, just drop a comment. Let us know.
So let's run on in Memorial. It's a classic tournament. Lots in general. I made the reel that I posted about Paul McBeth not playing for the first time in 16 years.
That's wild. And he's like done so many things. I mean, you touched on it in the reel, like an 1133 rated round, the highest rated round play ever played.
1132. You have to be very particular, just
excuse me.
It's just such a high rating that it's like every point matters.
Every point does matter at that point.
Generally speaking, it's been a really long time since Paul hasn't played. I wasn't able to find one person commented like, hey, is there a reason why Paul's not playing? As far as I could tell, he wasn't, though. There was something I saw that maybe alluded to maybe Paul was going from Arizona to Baja California Sur to go play at the disc golf course that he had helped build. And so it would make sense if he was doing like a Paul McBeth Foundation little stint before going to Texas.
Yeah, there was nothing specific on his socials or anything.
Right.
I think probably just wanting to be able to be ready for Waco is the bigger thing there. But yeah, the Memorial went down, and it seemed like from the get-go it was going to be dominated by the Discraft boys.
Oh yeah, Adam Hammes came out the gate absolutely steaming hot.
You said Hammes, right? Yeah, the 1100 rated round.
Yeah, absolutely crushed it. Which there's a lot of history to the ratings at Fountain Hills.
Yeah, I was looking into that because after I saw his 1100 rated round, I was like, I wonder who else has done this, because I legitimately just didn't know.
Yeah, and so I had mentioned that 5 of Paul's top rated rounds of all time, or 5 of Paul's top 20 rated rounds of all time, came from Fountain Hills, which sparked the conversation.
What's going on at Fountain Hills? And then you go and look, and the Memorial has the highest amount of 1100 rated rounds of any tournament ever, with 14 of the 56 that have happened.
Which is a crazy percentage given the amount of different courses that are played on coverage. Sure, like Fountain Hills has changed slightly over time, but it's still nuts. There's something there. We haven't quite nailed down maybe what it is. I think maybe it's a little bit of the fact that, yeah, it's an open course. It's not something that's tight and wooded, but it does have a decent bit of water, a lot of opportunity to go out of bounds. Maybe it's that the lower portion of the field plays a little bit worse, and then the top tier of the players playing can really crush it if they do it right.
I think that makes a lot of sense, because what it requires is the courses will play easy for those who have elite distance, right?
Right.
So if you can throw 500 feet, you're going to succeed on this course. You saw that with Hammes. You saw it with AB. You saw it with a guy like Cole Redolin.
Right.
You saw those guys who could throw really far.
Yeah.
Do really well on those courses. And if you go down further down the leaderboard, there is quite a bit of distance as you make your way towards the mid and
definitely
late scores.
The moment you get down at past number 30, it just very quickly
drops
back down.
And so I think that probably has a lot to do with it, but it is still interesting to see. Mm-hmm. It's exciting when you see, I know Hammes, I know Barella, I know Redolin, and I know Gannon Burr all shot 1090 plus rated rounds.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Which was absolutely ridiculous. And like I said, we thought it was going to be dominated by the Discraft boys. But Gannon Burr taking it down
dude, Gannon absolutely crushing it in the midst of some adversity right now. He just shows that he still has the opportunity to win. Obviously, we're looking at a different field than a true Pro Tour or Elite Series
Yeah.
event in terms of like who's playing, but this is a big event. You've got plenty of really big names playing this. This is no like simple win.
No, this is not like not to bash on Tennessee State's, but this is no Tennessee State A tier.
Yeah, this is a big time. Lots of 10, 20, 10, 30 rated players playing in this
Yeah,
event.
I mean, like you just look down the list. There's a ton of great players.
Yeah, you've got
You've got
like over
Gossage.
10 different 10, 20 plus rated players. So
Yeah, and a ton of 1,000 rated players. It's a tough field to win in, and Gannon did what he was supposed to.
yeah, he wanted a playoff,
Yeah.
which a 3-person playoff is uncommon. You just don't see that super often. And for somebody to take it, so I believe everybody took the same score on the first playoff hole, proceeded that I think, and maybe I've got this. Barella threw too far and out of bounds, I believe.
No, so Barella threw past, but not OB.
Not OB, but not close enough to make like a simple birdie putt. And then
Right.
Gossage hit something early, I
Hit
believe.
something early and had to try to throw in, but he
Right.
missed that.
And then Gamber parked it.
Yeah, the disc ref guys, Gossage and Barella, both go backhand, and proceed to have their errors, and then Gannon goes forehand and parks the basket.
Absolutely nuts. I love seeing Gannon take it down.
Yeah, but great days or great tournaments for AB, for Hamas, and for Goose. They all played super well.
I love seeing Goose play well. He's just so fun to watch. He's got like easily one of like the best like smiles on like the tour. Like you look at him and he's like, man, he enjoys playing disc golf. This is more than just like a profession. This is like something you love.
Yeah, it's a passion. It's like there's definitely passion in this game, and so it's fun to see that like result in some like really great performances, and I think he'll just build on that. This is a great stepping stone for him to continue building on this year.
How about you want to talk Isaac?
Yeah. So Isaac struggled at the Waco.
Yeah, that's probably a nice way of putting it. Like, love Isaac. Obviously, you have a really high expectation of Isaac winning Worlds this year. I mean, that's like one of your like way too early predictions.
Yeah.
And Vegas is a hard one to like pinpoint and say, oh, you're about to have a terrible season because it was super windy. There's just a lot of variability.
Oh, for sure. And that course really does not suit Isaac's strengths. He could play well there for sure, but
he's a wooded, like he's a very accuracy based instead of distance based golfer.
Oh, but yes, absolutely. But he obviously has distance, and he snagged a top 5 himself at the Memorial, so that was a great bounce back for him.
And he's just a couple strokes off of going into the playoff with everybody. I mean, absolutely nuts.
It was an absolutely like very competitive tournament through the top 6.
Cole being 4 strokes behind.
Yeah, I mean they all did really well. So Adam Hammond's rounding out that top 5, but
overall, I mean, you were mentioning it to me is that it was this mix between the top 5 was a mix between Prodigy and Discraft.
Yeah,
Gannon taking it down, Gossage and Barella on the Discraft side, Isaac on the Prodigy side, and then Adam back on the Discraft side.
Yeah, and so it was an exciting kind of almost team battle, if you will. Not that really plays too much into the sport itself, but it was fun to watch and fun to think about.
Yeah, I love it. Let me hit you with some stats.
Yeah.
I've been trying to kind of lock down the best way to get stats, running some Python code to like easily grab some of the stuff from the PDGA site. And my favorites are always birdie streaks, bogey free streaks.
Yeah, hit me.
Birdie streak shows who's hot, who has the ability to absolutely go off. Bogey streak shows who's consistent. Typically those leaders there play somewhere in the top 10.
Oh, for sure.
Birdie streak. Who do you think?
I mean, I would have to think Adam Hamas.
It was Adam. It was exactly who you would think, and this is who's going to win.
Yeah,
birdie streaks. Adam Hamas, Anthony Barella. Or Adam Hamas had 13. It was, I think, mid round 1 to
early round 2.
Yeah, because I think Adam had a bogey on his. No, it was round 2. Barella, I believe, had a bogey in his 1095 round. But yeah, it was mid round 1 where he had a par to like mid round 2. But then Barella had a 12-hole streak, Gossage had a 10-hole streak, Gannon Bird a 9-hole streak, which and all of this was at Fountain Hills when I went and looked at it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, makes sense.
Yeah. So bogey free streak.
Let me look at this leaderboard here. I mean, I'm gonna go a little further down. Let me take Drew Gibson.
It is Cole Redolin.
What a guy, Cole!
Cole went 50 holes of bogey free in this tournament. Now, to give you some context, like we know Fountain Hills is easy. There weren't a lot of these people that were taking bogeys out there.
Right.
Vista del Camino on their XL course was definitely a whole lot harder. Round 3 across the board, and again, there was a cut, so round 4 looks a whole lot easier than round 3 does because of the cut line, taking out some people that aren't playing hot. But round 3 averaged like 3 strokes over par across the board.
Wow.
It was pretty high.
Yeah.
And so, the difference there was like massive in terms of course difficulty. So Cole Redolin went 50 holes bogey free, which is absolutely nuts. But then you had Aaron Gossage at 49, just right behind him. And then you had a few others that were several holes behind that. So Cole Redolin, shout out to your bogey free streak. Absolutely love to see it.
Awesome, man. Now, this is something that I noticed and have seen on coverage just in some of these A-tier tournaments. Jacob Cordes, often known as Cupcake, has been called out on multiple occasions by commentators for his putting.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're seeing is a very methodical approach to putting that is seemingly testing the bounds of the rules.
Yeah.
And so I just want to know your take, and then I'll
briefly talk about this, and I fall on just a little bit of the other end of the rope. Don't get me wrong. Like I despise slow play when I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I dealt with that some in the tournament I played, and it's hard to sit around where things are taking forever. So I understand like the sentiment to where it comes from. Somebody was posting some stats on Facebook, I believe, like talking about, I think his putting style, he does these like little, like, I guess they call it like pumps, like kind of like almost like mini shot approaches that he does.
It's like a guy who's like warming up for his free throw.
Yeah, but he does them kind of like in quick repetition, supposedly. And they were counting the amount of seconds it took to the amount of pumps he took, and it was like 1 to 1, 1 second to 1 pump or something like that. I'd have to look back at it to know how accurate that was. But they listed off, I believe it was like 8 different putts that particularly they felt like maybe took them a while, but like a lot of them were like only 10 seconds that it took them to putt on like a majority of the list that they gave, and then several that were in that 45 to late 50s range. And I can understand, like, hey, it is outside of the bounds of the rules. Those card mates have every right to call Jacob on something like that. And sure, maybe some of these are, and I didn't watch the particular coverage back. I watched a little bit of round 1, primarily listening in. And so, like, obviously, he's not in that coverage, so I'm not going to be able to see it. Only the people that really were there live are going to see that for the most part. But I would love to see a rule change as a whole. Like, if you've got a really tough, like, putt, some extensions would be really nice to be able to call on. I know I'm not the first person to mention that, but I think 30 seconds can be a little tough, especially if wind picks up for any reason, which I don't think this was a factor here. But 30 seconds feels like.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. That portion of it. I do think there needs to be some kind of rule change where there is like, and you see it, like there is the courtesy that happens on the course.
Right.
Like if there's a particularly difficult lie, or if you're in a weird spot with a lot of wind for a putt, a lot of times there's grace for that. But there is the common theme of, I watched him lining up like an 8-foot putt.
Yeah.
And it took him like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I agree right there.
So like
that's a lot.
That needs to be fixed. And I get it. The nerves are real.
Yeah, and every putt counts at the end of the day. So I mean, obviously I'm not a professional disc golfer, but yeah, I'll go in a tournament and I'll like take my time on some of the shorter putts to make sure. But again, we're less skilled. These people play a whole lot more than us, so they should be able to hit those shorter putts at a higher frequency.
And I get, keep your routine going, do those kinds of things. But for an 8-footer, just throw it in.
Yeah, and now the only time I have a problem is with like pace of play is like suffering. Like if for some reason like I'm already on a backup, I might take a little more time on my putt because like I know that I'm just going to go and like sit and watch. So like there are lots of factors that play in, but I think if people are keeping up with pace of play and you're not causing a backup behind you, yeah, we can have that. That's my long term view
Yeah.
of like where it should go. But I agree entirely with it's against the rules, and people have every right to call in, and you
Yeah,
should honestly.
absolutely. I mean, I think you should. I do think the rule change, and I don't know how you do this. Maybe I need to think on it more, but there just needs to be room for discretion.
Yeah.
I think, like, I don't know how you write that into a rule, but like, there needs to be room for the card to be able to say, like, hey, this hole, like, this shot, like, you've got to throw between three trees and you're in the woods and you've got to straddle out. Like, it's going to take you more than 30 seconds to figure out your line, more than likely.
Which is what the rule currently gives. It's just like because technically it's a card decision of oh, hey, take your time. Like, hey, you've got a really tough lie right there. I understand. Like, if I was there, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah. So like that those things are already happening. And so I just think for the moments of like lining up a 8 foot putt for 30 seconds those that I mean for 35 seconds, that needs to get cleaned up.
I would agree. So that enough about that. Obviously, that'll be a long term discussion. Lots of players have that going on. Gannon's putting away faster this season. At least he mentioned on the podcast with Brody and Yuli that he's just going to go in and he's just going to putt. He's just going to like launch it off, and I think he's been doing that from what I can tell.
Yeah,
So,
from what I've seen, he's been doing that.
Trey, you want to talk to us about some of the crush on the concho?
Can we just talk about that name for a second?
That's wildly unique.
Yeah. Crush on the Concho. I want to play that tournament just because of the name.
It's pretty solid.
But
I mean, obviously, there are plenty of things like the Las Vegas Challenge, or the Challenge at Goat Hill. Like, Challenge is a fun one to add at the end, but the Crush.
the Crush. That's, I mean, top tier name for sure. But
tell me about the results.
yeah, so there were several big names that went and played. Joel Freeman takes it down, taking down the Lone Star Boys.
Wild Pants Man himself.
Yeah, what great pants. But yeah, he beats out Emerson Keith, Jaden Rye, and Nico to take the dub in Texas. And we won't talk about this for too long, but I did just want to bring up the point. I think it's really smart that they went and played in Texas.
Yeah.
Some of these folks, like the names I mentioned, I know Casey White was down there. Ezra Robinson was down there.
Yeah.
Like getting acclimated to the Texas weather, getting acclimated to like, the wind in Texas, the like, it's going to be obviously a little bit warmer there in Texas.
Your climate, your altitude, everything changes once you get into the area where you're going to be playing.
Yeah. People talk about Texas. People talk about Texas golf.
Yeah.
Like it's a specific way of playing disc golf.
I mean, it's basically its own country anyway. I mean, Texas is huge.
Essentially. And so I think this could bode well for a guy like Joel Freeman, who is like, he's another guy, like, I think last Disc Golf Pro Tour tournament, I picked Matty O to win.
Mm-hmm.
And he and Freeman are kind of in a similar spot where they're both waiting for that first Pro Tour Elite Series win.
Definitely.
And so I think it's a smart move by Joel to go ahead and get acclimated to that Texas weather. Right before Waco. So let's go ahead and jump into Waco.
We've got a preview for you, man. I'm excited for Waco. I'm going to go ahead and plug it early. Is leading into Waco, it's time for fantasy drafting.
Oh, you've got to.
I mean, if you're not fantasy drafting throughout the season, you really have less reason to like watch some of those up and comers and really pay attention to the entire leaderboard. I think it gives like an entirely different perspective to watching sports.
Oh yeah, and if you're like, say, okay, yeah, I'm a huge Paul Macbeth fan, so I'm just going to follow what Paul does. You're not going to really learn more about the sport and the way that it's growing and how these younger players are really improving. And so this gives you an opportunity to really enjoy disc golf in a new way.
Yeah, like the entire time I was watching coverage at the Las Vegas Challenge, I was like paying attention to like my like 4, 5, and 6, and just being like, God, I need you to pick it up.
It's like, come on,
pick it up.
Yeah.
But all that to say, we've got Forward Sports Fantasy. We initially posted a reel about it, just kind of previewing it to the public in beta testing mode. It's free to play. We're not charging anybody anything to play. It's solely for the enjoyment of disc golf fantasy. And so
absolutely.
If you go to forwardsportsfantasy.net, it will take you to our getting started page. It's got a rules page that lists how the draft happens. It's a 6-man draft. The top 4 of your 6 players get counted towards your score. The sum of the placement of your top 4 golfers is what your score is. So if you've got somebody in first, somebody tied for 6th, and a couple guys in 12th, you'll get 31 points right there.
There you go.
And so it all runs automatically for you. We've got groups. Typically, it runs in a set of 6 people is the ideal draft range.
Right.
But you can get 6 of your own friends to draft. We can set you up. We're constantly making updates to the website. It's a fun time, and we've just been excited. We'll do points all season for podium finishers in your draft. If you do well enough, you'll get invited to a major draft group based on people that have performed the best. Trey is currently.
I was going to say.
He's leading the pack.
Am I in first?
Yeah, you are in first. I posted. We've got a Discord that I go in and I post updates. I'm updating the website as we go.
Yeah.
And you're currently leading the way with, I believe it's 65 points. It might be. We did a couple A tiers internally that give very few points. Then we did the Elite Series that gives out 60 points to the winner. And you had gotten 3 points and 2 points somewhere, and then won your group and got 60. And so it's you, Ringifer, number 2, and then I believe
the cable guy.
Yeah, cable guy. Dude,
shout out to the cable guy.
The cable guy is running. Cable guy's a friend.
Yeah.
What a time. So it's a good time to draft. Go and join the Discord. Draft with us. We're going to preview Waco, which is your opportunity to hear us talk about who we think's going to win, what we think the winning factors are going to be here, and maybe give you some insight on what our mindsets are going to be as we go in and draft. So
yeah,
you want to get started talking about Brazos?
Yeah, so they're going to be playing Brazos Park East, and the biggest way I can explain this course is, you explained it very well on the Joe Mess coverage from last year. It is the exact opposite of the Las Vegas Challenge.
Yeah,
there are a couple of open holes, and then you just go in the woods forever.
Yeah,
and so. This is going to require a lot of technical shots, a lot of backhand turnovers. You're going to see guys who are technicians in the woods really excel at this tournament. And so, like I said, you're going to see technicians do well here. It's a 3-round tournament with no cut. Last year on the FPO side, we saw Val Mandahano take it down with Kristen Tatar coming in second and Katrina Allen coming in third.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the MPO side, of course, Macbeth took it down. He's a technician wherever he's playing.
He's just an all-around guy. That's your S-tier player right there.
And then, I forgot about this, but Luke Humphreys came in second.
He did. God, I love that guy.
Man,
he was a pick last week for who I would have on my dream card. Luke Humphreys.
He's a great guy. He kind of fell off.
Just a little bit, but he primarily functions in that GK area. He obviously has much more of a focus on his long-term. If it's not playing disc golf itself, he's made a name for himself outside.
Oh, most definitely. I think I'd be excited to see him play well again. He's a great guy. I enjoy listening to him do the GK Pro Skins, do commentary, all those kinds of things. And then rounding it out was Clemonade himself, Chris Clements, the lefty.
Well, actually, I guess Chris Clements and Joel Freeman tied last year.
Oh, good catch. Good catch.
Fun fact, Luke Humphreys and Joel Freeman, their PDGA numbers are less than 100 off of each other, which is kind of nuts.
And they're both higher than mine. That's so funny.
So just a fun one right there. So we'd love to see it. Just lots to look forward to at Waco. The Disc Golf Pro Tour, just overall, just brings a lot of excitement. And I think this year is our most technical year in the sense of so many people have a chance to win.
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's not been a season like this before.
No, we could have a different I would not be surprised if we had a unique winner in every single tournament.
Yeah, it could definitely happen.
I don't think it will necessarily happen this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Right.
And so we picked the Las Vegas Challenge, and we didn't really go over how we did. Thomas obviously did way better than me. On the FPO side, he picked Missy Gannon perfectly to come in second.
Mm-hmm.
He picked Katrina Allen to come in third. She actually won. And then Jennifer Allen to win, and she finished in the top 10. I'm just going to go ahead and the elephant in the room. I failed picking Evelina Salonen.
She did amazing.
She came in 33rd and missed the cut.
It was a tough one.
It was a tough one.
Obviously, we've got I had in my way too early. I had a really high hope for Evelina Salonen, and maybe she will. get acclimated a little bit more to the Pro Tour again. We could see it.
Putts.
Yeah.
But on the FPO side, I went Brody Smith, AB,
On
Matty
the
O.
MPO side.
Did I say FPO?
You did.
MPO side. I took Brody, AB, and Matty O.
We're going reverse order right there.
That's third to first. That's correct. Did not pick Brody to win.
And then I went Corey Ellis in third, San Lazat for the silver and eagle up top. None of those happened. The closest I had was Corey Ellis, who came in eighth.
Yeah, and my closest was Anthony Barella.
Also eighth.
Also eighth. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna change it up a little bit, Thomas.
Yeah. You kind of briefed me on the style we're gonna go for picking.
Yep. So we've got the winner, the podium, and the forge pick.
Yeah.
So I think the first two are pretty obvious. We're going to pick who we think is going to win. We're going to pick someone who we think is going to make the podium, so top three.
Yeah.
And then the forge pick, it's funny, but it's the person who we think feels like is forging their way into the top 10.
Yeah.
So
these is definitely like absolutely set up and ready to make their way up the leaderboard at any point, specifically this event. But
exactly. So the only stipulation here is this person needs to be outside the top 30 rated players in the tournament.
Correct. So every tournament, it will look different depending on who's signed up, who's not.
Exactly. And so if you select the winner correctly, you're going to get 5 points. If you select the podium correctly, you'll get 3 points. And if your forge pick is correct, you get 2 points. And we'll keep up with it from now on for the rest of the year. And so we're going to go ahead and make those picks. But like you said at the beginning, we're going to be bringing in a friend, a guest, a disc golf aficionado.
Somebody who definitely helped after our, wonderful disc golf trip. Unfortunate start. If you were watching our story at all, we showed up to a park for a tournament that me and our guest are playing in alongside another friend in a couple weeks. And we got to the park and just trees were down everywhere from a massive windstorm that came through, and they were doing park maintenance and they weren't going to be done for a few hours. And so we had plans to do one round at this course and then roll back and play another one in Jellicoe, Tennessee, Indian Mountain State Park, which,
oh my goodness,
beautiful. Depending on where you live, if you ever have the opportunity to go play at Indian Mountain, it's amazing. What an awesome park.
That's my favorite course in Tennessee. It's incredible. So we're gonna, but yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and bring him on. So
make it happen. We're gonna make a cut real quick. Once I clap, Matt's gonna be on the screen.
Boom. Hey, Matt.
Hey,
how's it going, dude?
We're excited to have you on.
Here, let's do one of these right here. Let's do a little handshake. You got
a left hand. Well, oh wait.
Oh, that's right.
This is folks. She is left-handed, which makes all of this just a little bit.
That's right. That's my fault. So you got to go.
You go with your right hand here, and then go to your left hand over here.
There it is.
Bingo.
Okay, I got it.
All right. So again, we're gonna do our forge picks. You're gonna have your top one, your winner of the event. We're gonna do MPO and FPO. You'll do your podium finisher. Again, can be anybody. Has to finish in the top three. Could be a winner.
Correct.
But it doesn't. If they win, you still get points. And then your forge pick, which is particularly somebody outside of the top 30 or top, did we say 20?
It's top 20 in FPO, yes.
Which I think you were looking at this while we were filming, am I right? At least for MPO?
Oh, yeah, I've got an MPO.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
We'll help with it.
You take a look.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and get into the MPO side.
Yeah, for sure. So, Matt, why don't you start us off? Who do you think is going to win Waco?
Well, if we're going for points here, I'm trying to beat you guys. I'm going to go with Paul Macbeth.
It's a good pick. I mean, he won it last year.
It makes sense. He's the highest rated. He played well at Vegas. What more can you ask?
You don't want the 2021 champion Nicola Castro?
No.
No?
That seems
Maybe if you want him.
I think that's very reasonable. Trey, do you want to give us your number one?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to go with this guy. I really believe in him. He's going to be a world champion this year. Isaac Robinson taking down Waco.
Isaac taking down Waco. Interesting.
I mean, like we've said before, he's a technician in the woods. He's dominant in this style of play, and I'm excited to see him take it down.
All right. I'm going to go for what I think is a reasonable pick. We're going for number one. We've got we've got room for a podium finisher. I'm going Calvin Heinberg at number one for the
Whoa,
Elite Series winner.
that would be exciting, man.
It would be exciting. It'd be a wild way to start the season, but I think Calvin Heinberg, he can definitely be a technician in the woods. He is just an all around player. So
Oh, absolutely. So we'll take it back to you.
reverse order.
Reverse order.
All right.
So who is your podium finisher?
Podium finisher. This is literally such an easy pick. It's his first event of the Disc Golf Pro Tour season. I'm going Chris Dickerson. He is definitely a podium finisher in this event right here.
I mean, again, you're talking about technicians in the woods. Chris is the limestone laser.
Yeah.
He's known for just shredding wood courses. He learned how to play disc golf here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
We got a lot of woods golf. That's a great pick. I'm gonna go what I think is even safer, and I'm gonna go with Matt's pick for the win. For my podium, I'm gonna take Paul Macbeth.
All right. Hey, fair. It's for points.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to take Thomas's winner pick, Calvin Heinberg.
They're taking the very safe route of picking somebody that could very well win the pick or win the tournament.
I think we all went safe there. We all picked top 6 players. So
I mean, all of these people won majors last year. So
We really just picked who we thought would win.
except for Calvin. Calvin won some elite.
I was thinking the second pick right there.
Oh, understood. Yeah.
The safe pick, which I mean, I guess according to Jonas, Calvin is the safe bet.
Hey,
but I picked him first.
So
now we've got the
Forge pick.
So, and the rating cutoff, if I'm not mistaken, was at 1027 was the highest, with 1026 being the beginning of like who you could pick.
Correct.
Yeah, so number 31 is Tony Farrow with 1026.
And that's just that's lowest PDGA based on rating. So Trey, or I guess Matt.
Yeah, Matt, who's your Forge pick?
Who's going to forge their way into the top 10 this week?
Well, I had a lot of ideas, and then I had to scroll through to see, but I'm going to go with Emerson Keith.
That's a good pick.
He recently switched his bag up to Lone Star, and he's from Texas. Lone Star's Texas.
Hey,
Waco's in Texas.
I love it.
His logic is infallible.
He played well last week.
He did play well at Vegas. Yeah, he did great there. I'm gonna go with a guy who maybe not everybody knows, but has been known to shred the courses where he can throw lines with his APR. I'm going Paul Oman.
All right.
Paul Oman. I mean, we've seen him on Jomas coverage recently. He's a great golfer. He got the ace in Mexico. Did you see that?
I did.
And so I'm looking for him to have a big tournament here.
Yeah.
Thomas, what you got?
Oh, I mean, I feel pretty confident with this pick. This person has been working very hard in the off season to get themselves in, very close to peak physical form for being able to play disc golf. Lost a lot of weight, really focusing on nutrition. Brody Smith.
Yeah.
I think that's such a good opportunity for him to come out and really compete this season.
Yeah, I think you guys made some good picks there. I think I went a little riskier, but I'm excited about Paul.
Just a little bit. There's a lot of opportunity, but Brody Smith finished 30th at the Las Vegas Challenge, and that just had some nuts weather. So
yeah,
I'm confident in Brody.
I think so.
I'm pretty confident with Emerson Keith.
I like that pick
Hey,
a lot.
Emerson, a pound for pound farthest thrower in the world.
That's exactly right.
Well, Matt, we appreciate you coming on for this right here.
And we got FBM.
Oh, SPO.
Yeah.
I just get so excited
To get
So-
me in here.
No, so we'll switch up the order here. We'll go Thomas, Trey, Matt for this one.
Let me pull up the list right here to make sure I've got them in order. And again, on the Forge pick, it's going to be top 20 is unable to be picked for the Forge pick.
So our cutoff will be, check the rating here.
FPO got a little high.
The rating's going to be, you could pick anyone who is below 947.
Yeah. So I'm going to go first on the first pick.
Yep.
Let's make it happen. I don't know why we have to talk about it much. Kristen Tatar. She's going to come out. Obviously, has managed through a little bit of what I believe is a slight injury through the offseason, but I think she's going to come out locked and loaded, ready to go. I think it's her time. She's ready to start playing and showing everybody why she's a top dog.
All right, Matt. What do you? Oh, that's right. It is me. So I'm going Kristen Tatar. It's I think too easy. Gonna get those 5 points.
Yeah, you won 5 points.
Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kristen Tatar too.
Yeah, no point, no points gained there really. So
But let's move into this podium finish, Matt. Who do you got?
Let's see. I've got Katrina Allen.
that makes a lot of sense.
Put her in
I think
there.
that's a solid one right
That's a
there.
good pick. She was a top 3 last year. I'm gonna go with last year's winner. I'll take Val Mondahano off the injury as well, grabbing the podium.
All right. I love to see it. I think, man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with Henna Blomroos.
Hey,
I think she's got it in her to make it happen. So Finland's about to show out. I guess now on our Forge pick, the bottom of our list, I think, is 947 is the last unavailable.
correct.
So 946 and below is available, and that would be Matt's pick.
I think it's you actually.
I mean, did I just go? Yeah, that makes sense. I was talking with Trey about this one. I think this one is a pretty simple one right here. Caroline Henderson obviously showed out.
Yeah.
Best start. I guess first. Best first event. I guess. What's the technical?
Yeah. So it was her first night on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and she had the best finish of any FPO player
Right.
ever in her first event.
So if there's anybody that's going to go out there and make a top 10 in the FPO division, Caroline Henderson's going to take it down. So
it's a solid pick.
who you got, Foch?
I'm gonna go with one of the biggest disappointments of the 2022 season, but she started out pretty solid in the first tournament this year. I'm going Kona Montgomery.
Yeah.
She's outside the top 20 now, which is just kind of shows where the fall off was. But I believe she had like a top 15 finish at Vegas, and she does really well in the woods. So I'm gonna go Kona Montgomery.
I think that's a great pick. She was definitely somebody I was thinking about picking. So I'm all in for that pick.
Matt, what you got?
Yeah, we talked about it a little earlier, but I'll take Paige Shue for mine.
Oh, that's a good pick. That's a good pick.
Paige Shue recently changed over to Discraft. Getting used to a bag, but I mean, I think she's got some opportunity.
She's a very accurate player.
Yeah.
She seems to always know where her disc is going to go, especially in a place where she has to ride a line. She's also an East Coast player, has played a lot of Carolina golf.
Definitely.
And so she's used to the woods. So I think that's a fantastic pick. I almost wish I made that pick.
Yeah, I remember seeing her on coverage a couple weeks ago, and I thought she played pretty well. I like the way she played.
What's because she's bagging Discraft? I mean, I think all of us, we all have slightly different preferences for bags. I'm a Discraft guy, maybe with a little bit of Discmania at the very
Prodigy.
Prodigy is the putter. That's pretty much
Yeah.
all they're there. Trey's becoming an MVP guy mixed in with a little Clash and Lone Star.
Only one Lone Star disc, and then I'm falling in love with Clash. I just picked up the Salt and Pepper, and man, oh man, I like those discs a lot.
And then Matt right here. I mean, you're obviously a dynamic guy yourself.
Mixing.
That is true.
I'm big on availability, so being able to get a disc that I lose is important to
Which
me.
I guess speaks to how amateur all of us are.
Yeah.
I've got a Paige Shue Lucid X Judge. It's really nice.
Nice.
I guess we won't be able to get that exact disc
No,
anymore.
it's just a judge. It's a putter though.
Yeah, but it's not a paid shoe though. So. Well, you want to let's get the handshake right this time.
Yeah, let's do it right this time.
So
Okay, go there. Boom.
boom, Matt, do you want to clap us out and then you'll disappear?
Yeah, clap us out.
I'm just dying. That was good. I hope that turns out well.
I do too.
Well, maybe it will. Maybe it'll be perfect. I'll edit the screen and try to get the clap there right on where Matt's hands were. We'll make it happen.
Okay.
So let's move in. We've got our typical segments here at the end. Trey, you want to talk about some new discs? There's one obvious. I want my hands on it.
I've got to get one. The Zone OS. That
I may just like scrounge around on the internet and just pay a little bit too much money for a test flight version.
I want to do like some content with it, man.
That'd be so good.
So if you have a Zone OS and you want to sell it to us and you want to see us throw it, please hit us up.
Discraft, I'm going to send you a message. I would love to review this disc. Like
We would.
I would just lose my marbles. I love the zone. I bagged my little backup zone. Well, I guess I actually just put the
Six claw.
the 6 claw zone in there. Though honestly, like there's nothing like a well seasoned zone. You just know how they fly. I've got a couple different ones. They're one's more beat in than the other.
Right, and I mean, I bagged 3 get free keys, and so
Please, Discraft, this is my message to you, asking for a test flight zone OS.
maybe 2.
Oh, definitely.
But we would take one.
Yeah, I would gladly take one.
But yeah, we've seen some of the pros throw it. I've seen videos of AB, Yuli, Brody all throwing it, and like it is stupid overstable
I mean, when you see a pro ripping it and it just
on Anheuser, like on a ton of angle, and it just fights out of it every time. It's like a tilt zone
yeah,
combo,
it's definitely the most excited I've been for a newer disc in the recent.
but it feels like like the tilt in reality is like borderline unusable.
Yeah,
I feel like a disc like a Zone OS, so a slower version of that type of disc,
definitely.
is a little more workable. And like it's got a slower speed, so you're gonna be able to work it on more angles and just get more versatility out of it that you want a higher.
You can still hit some very sharp corners with lower distances that are hard to do with very fair and quick ground play rather than large skips and rollaways.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that this is going to be a really awesome addition to the Discraft lineup. And so that's the only new disc that's out. So we're excited about that one.
Yeah.
So I think based on our time frame here, we're actually going to cut Foshi's Fun and Games.
I think that's fair. This is roll right into the Thomas's top 5.
Everybody's been wanting it, Thomas. Everybody's been missing it.
Ready. Okay, I love Thomas's top 5 because I get to surprise Trey with a topic that he hasn't expected but would have an opinion on. Trey, I let you know that it was marketing based.
Yes, that's all I know.
All right, so we're going to go with my top 5 2023 Tour Series discs, particularly as it relates to the artwork on them. Not necessarily what disc would I throw, more like what do I want to throw? What would I bag? What do I like the best? Now, one thing that I think I noticed as I was kind of researching into this, there's several brands that don't at the beginning of the season go directly in and make Tour Series discs.
Yeah, and even Discraft hasn't done their specific Tour Series disc yet.
Well, they did do a drop for the people with the new websites. Everybody did have.
Well, those aren't Tour Series discs.
They are inherently Tour Series. They're like player discs.
They're player discs, but they're not the specific Tour Series because like they always come out with that run.
The system is always changing because like it is like those go to pay for that person to tour, which is the concept.
Oh, for sure. I'm getting into semantics.
Yeah, because I don't think Discraft at this point will then release another disc for all of those people.
Oh, I think they will.
I highly doubt. Because of the artwork on them, I think it's highly likely that they only do that for each of those players because there's a lot of unique artwork across those.
We'll have to see how it goes.
So because those are in my list, and I think those are more likely to sell well because of the launch that they did. But those are part of the list right here, alongside some other, I guess, more tour. Some other brands use like Team Series. They don't all use the word.
Yeah,
Tour
totally.
Series, but to start us off, I'm going to go with a classic. A new design for 2023 is the James Conrad Terra. I just love seeing we've got Conrad right here absolutely launching the Terra.
Oh.
And that hair just looks wild.
Flowing in the breeze.
But it's specifically a SE, which I believe is maybe it's a different plastic.
It's a special edition.
Like, is that like a differential in plastic?
I think what that one is, I think it's the Electron Terra, actually. So I've seen these at Pluto. they've got them there, but it's in the electron plastic,
That makes sense.
which is I think that's their baseline plastic, isn't it?
Hmm.
That's pretty interesting.
So that one I really love.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just huge fan right there. Number 4, I'm gonna go with the Kona Montgomery
Okay.
evidence in the fusion burst plastic. This right here with the UFO pulling up a basket.
Oh, that's cool.
That looks so good.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. That looks like classic disc golf
Matt,
logo.
have you seen this?
I'm not.
Hey, but you want that now. This is your brand right there.
I don't. Evidence is that I've never heard of this.
You got to try it now.
Definitely. So that's my number 4 right there. I just think it's so good. At number 3, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here. I'm gonna put the Lazadal, the Hex, right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be more long term, just based on the design, but it does feel like it's a 2023, like it's a new
Oh yeah.
design.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a 2023.
Yeah, I was giving you more of a hard time than
Yeah.
anything else before, but that's
They called it his first Team Series disc, so maybe Team Series is what MVP calls like the longer.
That would have been my number 1 if I'm going to be honest. I love the Lazado. It's a beautiful disc.
Coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with the Corey Ellis UVZ Raptor. That looks awesome. A little extra, UFO type disc along the Kona Montgomery one. Right here, you've got a UFO like shooting off at a T-Rex that's got somebody riding it, tearing down a basket. That design
There
is
is so
amazing.
much going on here. That is
It's a
cool.
busy disc.
It is a busy disc, but I like a busy disc.
Yeah.
I would definitely bag that.
So, and you mentioned when we were talking about logos, Corey Ellis was somebody you would have put in your top 5. It is a very solid logo.
That Corey Ellis logo is so cool.
So I need to replace a Raptor anyway. I lost one this
Well, there you
weekend.
go.
I mean, I did get my other Raptor back, but having 2, I mean,
You have to. I have 2 in my bag.
So, and number 1, I think we all love a good old fashioned inside joke. I have to go with the Goose Blue Z. Nuke.
I love that,
I
man.
mean, if you're not aware, obviously, I say obviously, I mean, for anybody who pays a lot of attention to disc golf, at the 2022 World Championships, he was just known for throwing his blue nuke.
Throwing it on absolute awesome forehand.
Yes. So, I mean, this is an easy one to go for. So, I think that's a solid top 1.
The Goose logo is also amazing with the G that has the actual goose within it.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Discraft did a fantastic job with these new logos. And so that's a pretty solid top 5.
Yeah.
I
So,
love it. I'm glad it's back. I missed it so much.
definitely. So, we've had a long podcast. Obviously, a lot going on. We're excited. More content to talk about. Yeah, the podcast is going to be longer, but we appreciate you guys for watching. We're going to hopefully be posting throughout the week. We'll start posting other videos on the channel rather than just the podcast. So drop a subscription down here if you could. If you're listening, please.
Please do.
I would love it.
Like and subscribe.
So my computer's about to die. I think it'd be really good if we just wrapped on it.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much. Thanks, Matt, for coming. And we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.